Ah, budget games. The Nintendo Wii's library is filled with them, but are they all just shovelware, or are some like ice cream scoopware? Well, here's a budget game called Speed. What's it about? Well, Speed is all about speed. So, here's the game in its big box. The game disc itself comes in a little cardboard sleeve. And the manual, it's a full-size DVD case style manual. Just sits loose. It also comes with its own Wii wheel type thing. I don't know if you can get it without it, but here it is. It's black. It's small, but it's solid, and it actually feels good. I used it while playing the game for this video, and I thought it worked well. But really, almost anything can work as a Wii wheel. Okay, so you know what the packaging is like, but what is the game like? So is Speed any good? Well, yes and no. First, I do like the graphics, though they aren't anything spectacular. The tracks have a very deserted feel to them. There's not much scenery to look at, there's no fans watching from the stands. They're barren, but not barren in a post-apocalyptic way. It's kind of barren like you and some buddies broke into an old abandoned racetrack on the weekend to drive around for a while. I like the sound of the engines, and the music is appropriate to the game. Most importantly, though, the cars are fun to drive. The car. There are many different race teams to choose from, but the cars just vary in color. I found steering to be very accurate with the Wii Remote, and I just think at its core it's a solid arcade driving game. The problem is there just isn't much game to it. The main mode is the championship mode. You have 7 tracks and you race on each one in amateur class, trying to get first place in order to unlock the professional level. Once you unlock Professional, you have to get first in each track in order to unlock, well, nothing. That's the end. You just get a little congratulations screen, and then the credits. There is not even a single race mode, like you can't just pick a track and a number of laps and opponent difficulty and race. All you can do is pick from the races you already completed in one of the 2 difficulty levels, and race with whatever set amount of laps is given for each track. There is a time trial mode, but even that is limited. You begin the race with a full-speed rolling start and then get to do 1 lap, and it's over. If you want to try again, you have to click Retry Race. So there aren't a lot of racing options. There also isn't a lot of competition. I'm not sure how much AI the computer-controlled drivers really have. If you're ahead, they bump you off the road from behind, but I don't know if they are actually trying to wreck you, or they just are dumb and happen to hit you because you slowed down for some reason. If you're trying to pass a CPU opponent, they don't try to block you or anything. They might just be following a preset path or set of rules or something. In fact, on the track Streets of Ultrapolis? Ultrapolis? Anyway, at the start of that race, watch what happens much of the time. Yeah, these 3 cars just smash together and stop. Now, if you remember this and avoid it, you'll find that the next 3 cars will smash together down the road, and the car in first will go flying off the first turn. And just to prove that it's not an isolated incident, here's the same thing on a different race attempt. Doesn't seem to happen every time, but it's often enough. One of the things promoted on the game box is the ability to smash your way through your opponents. Well, the car wrecks and explosions are cool looking, and exciting the first couple times you see them, but they'll mainly happen at the start of the race when all of the cars are bunched together. I also think the ability to send other cars flying is too easy to pull off. Once you're at a high enough speed, just tapping an opponent the right way sends them into the air. Perhaps that could be toned down to allow more bumping before the explosions happen? It's just too easy to catch up to someone and wreck them with no consequence to yourself. This game does have a 2-player mode, so maybe it would be more fun to destroy your friend rather than the computer. Speed is kind of disappointing because I really do enjoy the driving part of it, but there's just so little game built upon that. It would be nice to have a true single race mode, more tracks, better opponent AI, and even online play, though I suppose that last one is really wishful thinking. So I wouldn't say this is a good game to pick up, though I did have some fun with it. It's just too limited a game. But I'd like a sequel, to take the core driving experience, keep that the same, because in my opinion it's really good, but just add a more extensive game to it. I don't know, just add some pixels or gigabytes or something. They're barren, but not barren in a post-apocalyptic way. It's barren like you and your buddies decided to drive around on the old abandoned racetrack on the outskirts of town, and you find out that your town actually owns the land, so you decide to go to town hall and see if you can get a permit or something, so you can go drive around on it for a while. So you go down, explain your situation to the woman there, and she says, sure, that's no problem. You just need to fill out Form 823, Schedule E, blah blah blah, and bring it back. And you think, great, so you go home, get all your information together, and fill out the form. You go back a couple days later, and a different guy is there, so you explain things to him and give him the form, and he says, oh, well, that's not the right form. And you say, well, Sheila gave this to us, and he gets a little indignant and interrupts you and says, well, it's the wrong form. You need this one, and he hands you an even longer thing to fill out. You figure, fine, whatever, I'll just get this one ready, so you go home, fill it out, come back the next day, and town hall's closed because of a water leak or something. Of course, they don't leave any information about where temporary offices might be or anything, so you think, fine, whatever, I'll come back in a week. So you come back a week later, and Sheila's there, so you give the form to her, and she says, okay, great, I'll put it on the schedule. And you're like, what schedule? And she says, well, for the town council meeting, where they take up requests just like yours. And you say, well, when's that? And she says, next Thursday. So you think, okay, fine, whatever. At least there's an end in sight. So you go to the town council meeting and listen to people complain about fire hydrants or that they think a branch from their neighbor's tree is hanging 6 inches over the property line, and finally, last on the agenda is your permit to drive around on the old abandoned racetrack. So you step up to the microphone and explain that you and your friends would like to be able to just take some cars out for an afternoon and have some fun. And the town council's like, what, are you drag racers? What, are you street gang? And you're like, no, what are you talking about? We just want to go to an unused racetrack with no other cars or pedestrians and just drive around safely. And they say, you going to be drinking out there? We can't expose ourselves to any liability because a bunch of street toughs go kill themselves driving too fast in their Datsuns. And you're like, no, we would never drink and drive. And wait, Datsuns? Street toughs? And they just shut you down and they say, permit denied, without even giving you a chance. Disgusted, you walk out to your car and call your buddies and say, look, this is ridiculous. Let's just go down there Saturday and race, and if the police come and ask us to leave, we'll just politely pack up and leave. So you head down there Saturday morning, have an absolute blast racing and joking around, and no one comes to bother you at all, because no one working for the town probably even knew this track existed, and that's why it's so barren.
I'm playing Nintendo Wii! Woo!